It works. Yes. I'm sorry I had to be quiet and let the music run for it to sink in. It actually works. Yes. Hi, Spittle. How's it going? I'm happy. um, I'll explain why in a minute, but hello everyone. Welcome. I haven't been here for a while. Yes. Um, I'm not going to explain my absence as I don't really have a reason for my absence. I'm just um I'm just me. You're gonna have to settle for that, okay? Accept me. Love me. But I'm here now, and that's what matters. Back, once again, for another NASCAR stream. Yeah! I don't plan for it to be just NASCAR. I do plan to cover more sports, like the Puppy Bowl. That's a sport. That's a good sport. Watch the Puppy Bowl. Hi, Pear. Um, yeah. But I do plan for the bulk of this stream to be um, NASCAR, and more specifically, NASCAR video games, as that's what I've spent my time on Twitch doing. By the way, I have a Twitch channel, in case any of you don't know. It's in the description. I do stuff there sometimes. I've been streaming over there mostly. Yeah. So, mostly NASCAR. If you're not into that, you can totally leave. I want you to stay. I want you to stay. I miss you. I miss you. Please stay. Don't leave me. But I totally get if NASCAR bores you. I'm going to try and make it entertaining, but I don't always succeed. Like last night, which I will get to. The 500 is this coming weekend. Yes, that is next Sunday. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday! And hopefully it'll be good. The last 500 was really good. So hopefully this 500 will be good as well. And not a total mess like the Clash was. But again, gonna get into that later. So, first off, I'm using OBS. Yeah, I got this going. I got paranoid about it going because one, I just the OBS difficulties from last night. Two, I updated OBS, and three, YouTube being YouTube didn't really explain what to do, so I kind of just winged it. And it also, for most of the time before the show, didn't even say, hey, yeah, you're good to go. It didn't even let me press the go live button until I pressed the start streaming button in OBS. I mean, I know YouTube isn't mainly for streaming and like Twitch is, but Twitch does it so much better. I just press the start streaming button in OBS and I go. I'm live. I can talk to all you lovely people in chat. I can just sit there and blab, and it's great. But YouTube doesn't do that because YouTube is stinky. Now I do see. Granted, I haven't, streamed on YouTube in a year, so there have been some changes. I see that I can do a Q&A and start a poll, which is cool. I'm glad to see that they're, updating YouTube in good ways, rarely, but we're not here to badmouth YouTube for the entire stream. There's probably going to be some badmouthing of YouTube throughout it. I just, I don't like YouTube. I mean, okay, no, I love YouTube because it's where I get a lot of my entertainment because TV is boring. Like, don't watch television. Television's bad. It'll rot your brain, don't you know? And it allows me to get my dumb, stupid voice out there, but it could be so much better, you know? It could be a functional platform. But it doesn't want to be functional. No, it wants to be bad. Anyway, I should probably start with what I've been doing lately for this stream. I've been playing NASCAR games. I know, very hard task. I give me a medal now. um, but yeah, I've been playing NASCAR games and I've been playing them over on Twitch and in my spare time. Because I want to talk about the state of NASCAR games and kind of just the state of gaming in general. Um, because I love gaming as well. Like, just like YouTube, I love gaming. It's where I get a lot of my entertainment. But it could be better, you know? It back in my day, gaming used to be cool. We used to have like Assassin's Creed and Batman, like the Arkham games. There were other games. There were the God of War stuff, and like it was constant bangers, man. Now, granted, you had your Call of Duties and your Battlefields, and those always suck. Those still suck today. But you know, finished games were released, which was nice. I wish we could have that nowadays. I I I, I want to go back. But anyway, yeah, NASCAR video games and such. But before we get to the meat of the NASCAR video games, I should one get off this OBS screen because I have more screens to use, like this one. This one's meant for talking. Um, Normally you would have a chat up there in the TV, but I kind of forgot about that and I didn't set up the YouTube chat for that. So that's going to be blank unless I want to show something. I apologize. But I do have chat replay on for the replay. So you know what? You know, all of these losers who are catching the stream late, they can handle. They'll be fine. We won't worry about them. They'll be good. They'll be okay. I love you. I love you people who are watching this like 2 days later. Hello, future people. I love you. Please stick around. I value as much as the people in chat right now. But anyway, before NASCAR, I want to talk about the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not really a football guy. I find football boring. Um, but I figured, you know, it's Super Bowl Sunday, and I can't just talk about the Puppy Bowl, even though I would love to talk about the Puppy Bowl. I can't just talk about the Puppy Bowl, so I might as well cover the Super Bowl for, you know, the football fans. I appeal to the audience and all that. Um, Sad, very sad display. Eagles didn't win. I am heartbroken and crushed. I'm really not because I like the Chiefs as well. But if there's one of Shio's friends is like a huge fan of the Chiefs, and he's going to be rubbing this in for the next year. And I'm not prepared for that. Now I know how Kess is gonna feel, cause the one Super Bowl I watched, actually I've watched a couple. The first Super Bowl I've watched was between the Seahawks and the Broncos, and the Broncos lost, and I am still rubbing that in to this day. Yes, I did not watch the game, but I could talk about it, you know. I can. Stuff happened. Football stuff happened. I know that. There was ball throwing and ball catching and playing with balls, and I can be clipped on YouTube. Don't finish that sentence. Football stuff was happening. You know, might as well cover it. I don't need to watch it to have an opinion on how it sucks and how the football in general sucks. Although I did notice a few things because I did watch a bit. I did watch a bit. I saw the ending. The ending was boring. The Chiefs are big baby men. Um, the sorry, thoughts fell out of my head. They kept it close. I was watching the scores. I wasn't watching the game, but I was watching the scores. The fumble was funny. There's a fumble. Oh, I kind of want to see the fumble. You know, the NFL probably uploads things on YouTube. I want to see if I can find a fumble. But I was checking the scores and things seemed to be close. So, yay. I'm sure it was an entertaining game. Yay. Aside from the ending. Woo. Um, but I'm gonna be honest. I more so want to talk about things leading up to the Super Bowl. Like just this is just one of them. Machine Gun Kelly, someone I do not like. I've never liked him. He got electrocuted while rehearsing. Two in this game, you twit. I didn't watch it. Shut up. I'm just talking about it because I can. Because I had more to say before this, I'm going to be honest, but I'm dumb, so it fell out of my head. Fell out of my head.
We got a spill on our...
Shut up. Stop talking. Sorry, not you guys. That was just something my computer started playing. It does that. I have like 13 viruses. They just start playing stuff at random. I'm joking. Um, where's my train of thought? Machine Gun Kelly getting completely fried before the Super Bowl while he was rehearsing. That was entertaining. I love that. Seeing his hair all freaked out. Rigged is trending because of the Super Bowl. Lots of butthurt people out there. I, you know, okay, something funny, regarding that. Not 5 minutes after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, I got an ad on YouTube for Dick's Sporting Goods. And what was in the ad? It was advertising apparel about the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, like shirts that said Super Bowl champions. Hey, Shawl, how's it going? Megan may have broken up with him. Yeah, but I don't care about Megan Fox. She was in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, and I think that's the only time I've seen her. I'm avoiding the Twitter machine. Smart. But yeah, that just not 5 minutes after they win, and you're putting out um merchandise about them winning. I hmm I'm not a sports conspiracy theorist, but it's kind of weird. Either you had really good timing, or you made a good guess, or it's rigged against the Eagles. The Eagles should have won. But anyway, football. I got sidetracked with that commercial. Thank you, Bonsako. I blame you. Something else happened before the Super Bowl. What happened before the Super Bowl? There's some promo thing. I forget. I'll remember it later. Anyway, Super Bowl happened. Yay. Yay. I can now say I've talked about the Super Bowl. My contractual obligations have been completed. Now, on to NASCAR. Not NASCAR video games, but just NASCAR itself. I have stuff to talk about there because I actually watched that and I actually care about that. Like football, that was contractual obligations. My sponsors have been paying me. I don't actually have sponsors, but they are paying me to talk about the Super Bowl. This I'm talking about because I want to talk about it because I like NASCAR. But the Clash at the Coliseum down in LA. It's like I actually LA is a really long drive from here. Never mind, take that back. I didn't even say it. Still, take it back anyway. Um, Down at the LA Coliseum, not as good as the first year. Granted, I know they're or at least the drivers were pushing the limits now that they know more about the next gen. It's like their 37th race in the thing now. They've gotten used to it. So they were pushing it. But that was just a total wreck fest. You couldn't make it a lap without someone spinning. And granted, some of it was fun, like Bubba and Hamlin and Bush. I don't like those three, so seeing them get screwed over, oh, it brings me so much joy. I love that. And also Bowman, baby, he didn't win it, but you know what? He did good. He was up there consistently. I don't think he fell out of the top 10 all day. Granted, it was only a 150 lap race, but he was consistent. He was up there. That is filling me with hope for this season. As a Bowman fan, I loved watching him. Now, granted, there were only about 3 entire laps run because everyone was just bop and then spin someone out. There's a caution. Not the most entertaining race, I will tell you what. Not the most entertaining. I kind of left at the end. There's something I was going to do. Oh yeah, I remember, Little One. I was talking to Little One. So that was a lot more entertaining than the end of that NASCAR race. Because you know what happened at the end of that NASCAR race? Nothing. More spins. Nothing happened. Martin Truex Jr. won, which I love. I like him. He's a great driver, and he's probably going to be retiring soon. So it's always great to see him get a win. But that race just sucked. The heat races were better. The heat races were a lot more fun to watch, a lot more entertaining. It wasn't just a total wreck fest. But we're going to have to talk about problems that have already arisen, um, that are not related to horrible driving by, professional drivers that are at the top of their league. First off, NASCAR. Why would you get what was his name? Wiz Khalifa. Wiz Khalifa was his name. Why would you get him to perform at the Clash? Why? Like Ice Cube, a totally got. Everyone likes Ice Cube. He's been in the game for ages. Is the LA a right-hand turn track or reverse track? No, they were turning left. Their whole job was to turn left, and they sucked at it. I don't know what went wrong. They were just too aggressive. They wanted to beat and bang and completely screw their cars over and their competitors over. I get screwing your competitors over, but they just wanted to beat, bang, bop, wreck. And that's what happened. That was the entire race. Um, but like Ice Cube at last year's Clash, I totally get. LA guy, everyone loves him. He's like everyone thinks he's okay, not everyone. But he's at least respected by most people for his skill and what he does. Wiz Khalifa, I not the worst pick from Southern California. Um I don't know if he's from LA specifically, but I wouldn't doubt that. So definitely fits the region, yeah, but could you have gotten someone, good who could hold a crowd maybe? Is granted, he had a lot more movement from who were they? Insane in the Membrane guys. Cypress Hill. He had a lot more movement in his show than Cypress Hill, but it wasn't good, and he doesn't fit NASCAR at all. Ice Cube didn't, but he has like star power. He has star power not just from music, but from acting as well. So he was a great pick. Hey, reconnecting successfully. It better be reconnected successfully. Is OBS breaking on me again? Did the update not fix it? It I'm going to be peeved if OBS is broken and I am gone. It said I'm reconnected, and it says everything's good. But you know what? I don't trust OBS. I don't trust as far as I can throw it. I can throw my computer pretty far, but I can't throw a computer program at all. Anyway, train of thought. Cypress Hill. I don't know anything about Cypress Hill. I just know that they have, at the very least, one bad song. Why? Why would you get them to go there and sing Insane in the Membrane? Like, that is less NASCAR than Wiz Khalifa. Like, when I think NASCAR music, I think, country or some hard rock. At the very least, something that makes you want to drive and drive fast. If you go to the EA NASCAR games, and I know I'm going to be talking about that later, their soundtracks were beautiful. They always had good songs, and granted, I'm biased because that's like my type of music. But the songs always wanted to make you drive fast and hard and aggressive. You always had some bumping music to listen to. Like, even NASCAR commercials understood this. There's a NASCAR commercial, and I love this commercial, from back in the day, where Yev Jr., of course Yev Jr., that's back when he was in the 8. And he's messing around with his CD player. Hi, Shio, I'm gay. I'm sorry, you can't play sound alerts now and blow my head off. I apologize for that. I was thinking about doing this on Twitch, but I figured, haven't streamed on YouTube in a year, might as well, and then go back to Twitch. Because, I'm gonna be honest, I like Twitch more, word fell out of my head. The chat can mess with me more, more chat interaction, there we go. Chat can interact with the stream, it's more fun to interact with the chat. In fact, that's why, I've been thinking, and I never thought I'd say this, I've been thinking of making somewhat of a push for Twitch affiliate, so that way I could mess with the chat more, and the chat maybe could mess with me more. The only thing really holding me back on going, yeah, I want to push for Twitch affiliate, besides I'm lazy, is I don't want to be paid. Interaction, yeah, thank you. I don't want to be, paid. And you're never gonna hear that out of anyone else. But if I could have it so I could get like the channel points and the predictions and the polls from Twitch affiliate without the money, I'd be happy with that. I would take that. Like, I don't want you guys to sit through ads. I don't want any of that. I I don't think you sit through ads on YouTube because I'm not monetized. Granted, I don't know for sure. So you guys may have to sit through ads. I don't know. I haven't had to sit through ads on my own channel, but that may be because, I'm the one running the stream. Anyway, I don't want you guys to sit through ads. I don't want you to subscribe. I don't want you to give me bits. I don't want any of that. I just want to entertain and stutter while I do it. Entertain. I just want to do that. I don't want to be paid. Look at me. I'm a saint. Love me. No. Um. Anyway, back to NASCAR. He's messing with his CD player and all that, and it's really funny. You should watch it. I would pull it up if I didn't think like some corporation would get mad at me. Um. But in that, you have some. I'm not gonna say hard music, but you have some music that makes you want to drive fast. So even the commercials understood. Drive fast music is the best NASCAR music. Wiz Khalifa does not make me want to drive fast. Wiz Khalifa makes me want to put a pillow over my head and just either block out the noise or suffocate myself to death. Pick someone better, NASCAR. I know there are quite a few people you could get from, at the very least, California. I'm sure there are decent bands from LA. They may not be the biggest bands, and I'm not even sure all of them would be headliner bands, which I know NASCAR wants, but just get something that fits and makes the fan base, all the people in the stands go, yeah, NASCAR, woo! Shio, do I wanna read out your jokes? I don't think I do. How did The Rock pee? He Dwayne's his Johnson. Okay. Yeah, that's enough Shio jokes for me. Speaking of The Rock, kinda. And also, this is another sport I can talk about. I've been watching Stone Cold recently. I like Stone Cold. He's funny. Like I I could watch Stone Cold all day long. There's part, and it's part of a grander thing where he just lists his sonic order. He just lists it. And I was thoroughly entertained. I don't know if my standards are just that low or if he was just that good. I want to chalk it up to him just being that good. But I was thoroughly entertained. I'm not the biggest fan of wrestling. I just kind of some matches are fun, others are kind of Most are But I could watch Stone Cold all day long. I love watching them. But that's topic for another stream, or maybe later in the stream. We're talking about NASCAR, baby. Left turn. I don't know if y'all noticed. I made a thumbnail for this. I made a thumbnail for the last one, but I put more effort into this one. No, no X Games stuff for the Moo. I'm not good enough to be X game type of gamer. I I suck at video games. Like, my greatest achievement in all of video gamedom is not a NASCAR achievement. Is beating Arkham Knight on Ultra Nightmare difficulty. Is it Ultra Nightmare? No, it's just normal Nightmare with a K, because he's a Dark Knight. Yeah, yeah, that's my greatest achievement. It's not much of an achievement. That was really just me brute forcing my way through the game. But you know what? I did it. I achieved stuff. Go me. Anyway, that's also for probably later in the stream. NASCAR. Get someone better, NASCAR. I'm going to hope that this year's clash was a blunder, and it will be better next year and the year after that and the year after that. Because admittedly, some of it wasn't NASCAR's fault. Yeah, the drivers being kind of dumb. NASCAR totally was at fault with a one dumb rule change involving Blaney and Wiz Khalifa. You also had Fox News. I forgot to talk about Fox News. Not Fox News, Fox Sports. I don't know why Fox News popped into my head. YouTube, don't strike me for that. Fox Sports. They're the ones who cover the Clash up to the playoffs on TV. I think it's the playoffs. Oh, the playoffs. I could go on and on about that. But they don't have the best coverage. Granted, I like Fox because Mike Joy. Mike Joy is, I think, the best NASCAR commentator if you're going for just general commentary and facts. Um, he's my favorite still working commentator with Dale Jr. closely behind, but I love Dale Jr. I'm a total Jr. fan. Past two NASCAR thumbnails have been Jr. Believe it or not. So yeah, total Jr. fan. So I'm totally biased on that. But Fox News, Fox Sports, I mean, totally screwed up the broadcasting. Now, granted, it was cool because they had drivers going into the booth, like Jimmy, because he's showing up next week at he's racing in the 500. But you had Harvick and Logano and Bush heading into the booth to give their 2 cents on what was happening, and that was really cool. I loved that. Is there any female driver that didn't race as NHR motorcycle racers? I don't know. That's okay. I don't know because that's the first time I've ever heard of NHR motorcycle races. I don't pay attention to motorcycles. Um, I know Danica didn't do motorcycle racing. I think I'm back. I'm going to assume I'm back. Can you guys still hear me? My headset just randomly turned off. I am midway through since my headset just turns off. Even even when OBS works fine and I don't have a terrible game I'm playing, there'll be something to give me difficulties. You said the D word. What D word? My headset turned off. Difficulties? Is the is the D word difficulties? What D word did I say? Is the word of the week difficulties? Um, can you still hear me? Danica. Oh yeah, I said Danica. That's it. She's cursed me. Danica has cursed me. Okay, so I'm assuming I can be heard now. I hope my headset doesn't turn off again. That would be nice. You know, that'd be really nice. Anyway, what was my train of thought? Danica. Yeah, I don't know anything about NHR motorcycle racers. I will look that up though after I get through my thought. Fox Sports. I should probably. I'm now realizing this. I should probably get through thoughts before I read something in chat that is unrelated, instead of just hopscotching around from idea to idea, which I'm doing now. Fox Sports. It was really cool them having actual drivers in the booth and stuff to give commentary throughout the heat races. That was awesome. I love that. I wish they could do that more. Of course they can't. Maybe during like qualifying and practice. Granted, I don't really watch that because it's hard to find on TV, and it's kind of boring. But that would be cool. So it was really cool during the heat races for them to be in there. But you had just Fox Sports being Fox Sports and being dumb. Like, I think it was Kyle Busch that said, "Oh, you're gonna want to watch who was it? David Gilliland and someone else." Anyway, two drivers are having a battle. It doesn't matter who. Two drivers are having a battle, beating and banging, both really wanting to, get into the clash, so that way they didn't just waste a whole bunch of time. Um, and, and as he says this, as he's saying, "Oh, you're gonna want to keep an eye on those two," what does Fox Sports do? They immediately cut to commercial. We didn't want to watch that. We didn't want to watch any battle. Nah, battles are boring. They immediately cut to commercial. Now, I get you have like you sponsor, not sponsor, commercial contracts and obligations and yada yada. I should get off the screen now. I just realized which screen I was on. Click the wrong one because I'm dumb. So I totally get that. Totally get that. But can't you delay it just 5 minutes so we can watch a really cool battle unfold? Please? I know you can. I've seen it before. Please? Um, they also just had, and actually, after they got back from commercial, yeah, the entire battle was over with. Um, we missed all of it. Oh, who wanted to watch it anyways? Also had instances where the cameras are just on the wrong guy. Now, granted, I know they have multiple cameras across the entire track monitoring multiple people in situations, but I know for a fact in the studio they can cut from one camera to another. Cut to the camera that the commentators are talking about, not to just some random guy running in 15th who ain't moving anywhere. Cut to the wreck happening 10 spots behind him. Because that's what the commentators are talking about, and that's what everyone wants to see. We want to see what's happening in the caution. We want to see what's causing the caution. We want to see the battle. We want to see all that stuff. But no, we don't deserve it. Also, and this one I maybe can let slide. Maybe there's a technical issue on this front. But after one of the cautions, they were talking about, "Oh, let's check the replay and see what happened." And they pull up the whole like NASCAR on Fox transition, and then typically, you go into the caution replay. Caution replay never come. It just stayed on the NASCAR on Fox transition screen. And it stayed there for like a good 10 seconds. And then we just go back to I think it was Ryan Blaney with a messed up car pulling into the pits. Like, I can maybe put that one aside for technical issues. But if that's just Fox being Fox, I'm slightly peeved. And I know, because this has been happening for years. Fox has had many blunders. I don't expect them to be perfect. They've never been perfect. They're never going to be perfect. But they are just having so many blunders throughout the year that's kind of just, I'm going to have to imagine this really cool thing in my mind because they're never going to show me what happened. There's no coordination. There's no intelligence. It's just kind of, Fox is just kind of showing cars go around the track. Which I know, yes, that's what NASCAR is. But they're not showing any of the cool stuff that happens in NASCAR. And it kind of makes it hard to show people, yeah, all this cool stuff happens in NASCAR. It's not just cars turning left. Sometimes they turn right, There's cool stuff happening. When they don't show the cool stuff, how are you going to get more people into the sport? And how are you going to get people already in the sport to stay in the sport? Because they're just not going to watch. They're going to go, if anything, best case scenario, they're going to go listen to MRN radio and hear what's happening. Because then they'll have a much better idea on who wrecked who for what pass at what part of the track. there were so many betting sites averted to on Fox. Yeah, Fox has a lot of betting things going on. There's nothing cool in NASCAR. Okay, no, 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 no. That's just wrong. Because maybe I get it. I get it. You don't want to watch cars turn left in circles for 3 hours. I totally get that. But at the very least, you gotta admit some of the wrecks are really, really cool. And at least, and like the engines sound good. And going 200 miles per hour is just inherently a cool thing. It may be boring to watch for some people. NASCAR is not for everyone. It may be boring to watch for some people. But there are inherently cool things about it. Not all tracks are oval. True. Or run in the same direction. Um, I think. I don't remember them ever going on the track backwards, like for a race. Although that would be pretty cool. That would be fun. I would love to see them do a mirror thing. It's not wrong. Gay. Shio! Shio! No, 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 no. You watch baseball. What happens in baseball? Oh, guy hit ball with stick. That is boring, man. Like football, I can somewhat get, fat, sweaty men hitting each other. I'd much rather, watch wrestling or boxing or some sort of fighting sport. But fat, sweaty men running into each other, that can be entertaining at times. Baseball, baseball is a hit with a bat and a brisk jog. That is inherently boring. So don't tell me about what is cool and what is not, and what is boring and what is fun. So anyway, Fox, get better, because I don't want to watch terrible shows. I don't want to watch you guys muck up another season. I know you're going to do it. Deep down, I just know you're going to do it. But please don't. For the sake of everyone, please don't. You'd probably get more money at advertisers and viewers if you didn't. And so would NASCAR. You're neglecting to mention when they scratch their nuts. I'm sorry. Men scratching their nuts is not an inherently cool thing. It's an inherently gay thing. They used to in San Diego Dome run the cars going right. That sounds fun. There's a San Diego Dome? I'm gonna need to look that up because that sounds cool. I know for this year, two cool things are happening. Or at least they're cool to me. One, they're going back to North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race. That's something everyone has wanted to see. Except for maybe those die-hard Texas Speedway fans. All three of them out there. But no, we're going back to North Wilkesboro. Also, we finally got a street race on the schedule, which we haven't had in, I think, at least 20, more than 20 years, like 30 years. So that's going to be nice. It's going to be in Chicago. I hope all of the drivers can make it in and out of Chicago without getting shot. But it sounds like a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to be excited to see that one. Now, okay, something else that's cool. Auto Club, which hopefully we're going to this year, which I would be excited for. It's running. It's not its last race, but its last race for at least a little bit because they're doing track renovations and stuff. They're not going to get it done in time for next year. So you know what? I hope they put on a good show before they do the renovations because they put on a good show last year. That was a lot of fun. Um, I think that's everything NASCAR sport-wise. I may remember something. I'm not good at remembering. I may remember something later. And talk about that. But I suppose for now we can get to the video game. Shia, what is that link? NASCAR Street Race going to Chicago. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It is 2023. I just remembered that. Yeah, that's the Chicago street race I'm talking about. Yeah. They will turn right on a street. Do you think they fixed the center run pothole on turn 2 at Indianapolis yet? I would hope so. If not, the Indy 500 this year is going to be really entertaining. I may finally watch that. I don't watch IndyCar racing. I watch a bit of Formula One racing because I like Ferrari, and I mostly just watch NASCAR racing. But I always hear great things about IndyCar racing, and I do need to check them out at some point. But does anyone watch IndyCar and know like it's like a really fun time or something? Because I always hear it's a fun time, but I hear that from like die-hard motorsport fans. Like they don't just like NASCAR or F1, they like all the motorsports. Like they could name you some weird grassroots thing in Asia. So, but like just a normal standard viewer, if there's any here, is IndyCar fun? And I may need to check it out. I want to take a quick sip. Okay, so I think that's all NASCAR related news, or NASCAR sport related, and we can now get on into um, NASCAR video games, because that's what I've spent the past, not month, entirety of my life. My entire life has been leading up to this moment. um, but yeah, we shall get into that. I want to start where last night ended. Oh boy. See, I'm not reading that. I'm really not reading that. Like, I know you can. I know sometimes you can get me to read something, but I'm sorry. The first thing I saw in that was Adolf Hitler. I'm not reading that. uh, I don't know why Hitler just stuck out so much to me. It was the first thing I saw. Maybe that says more about me than it does you. So I want to start the NASCAR video game section with where we ended last night. Mario Kart, not Mario Kart. Although that would be cool to have a stock car in Mario Kart. I know they can get the Mercedes in there as a card. Why not a stock car? That I would pay money for that. Do that paid DLC. I would love that. I would eat it up. I've heard that one before, Shio. Come up with something new. But we're going to start tonight where last night ended, NASCAR '08. But we're going to be talking about the PS2 version instead. And technically NASCAR '09 because they're the same game. They're the exact same game. They're like 2 more features in NASCAR '09. But it's the same game. But we're going to talk about the PS2 versions, which I have not shown you guys. Actually, I can NASCAR '08 PS2. I can bring up pictures. I can bring up the pretty pictures for everyone to see. um, Now NASCAR '08 for the PS2 is one of, if not my most favorite NASCAR game of all time. Well, technically '09 because that one has Junior when he first moved to Hendrick. But one of, if not my favorite NASCAR games of all time. Because I'm sorry, the PS2 version of that game is rocking. It's not, realistic. It's quite arcadey. The nationwide car is just it's not like insanely loose. It's just slidey. Your tires are made of ice, and you're kind of just wee. Granted, all of them are loose. It's a very loose driving model and physics engine, which I can handle. I do like. Um, that's what makes it so very arcadey. But I just love that game. That game's so much fun. You get to drive the Wheel and Modified, which, as I said last night, I could play a Wheel and Modified game where it's just the modified cars and would love it. That game would be so much fun. I could play that until the end of time. And I'm probably going to play this uh, NASCAR '08 for the PS2 until the end of time, or at least until something breaks. At the very least, until something breaks. But it's a great game. I should probably explain why it's a great game. It's not everyone loves it. In fact, I think I'm gonna look up the reviews because I'm curious. Not everyone loves it. In fact, quite a few people don't because it's not realistic or anything. It's not like a hardcore NASCAR game. It has a 7.9 on Metacritic. That's decent. That's pretty good. Um, but it's a very, very fun game. You have, of course, the wheel modify, which I talked about, which stick primarily to short tracks. And those things are so much fun on short tracks. They're quick, they're nimble, you can rough them up a lot without them breaking. I don't think you can even like pop the tires. And you have to do some major damage to explode a fuel tank or an engine or anything. It's a great starting car for when you're getting used to the game, and it's a lot of fun just to, turn laps in. Um, just run laps around the track with like a friend or the AI if you're like me and lonely. Um, but they're a ton of fun. Of course, after that, you move up into the trucks. Trucks are fine. The trucks are kind of just, stock cars but slower. Short track or short bus, both. I'm on the short bus while riding along a short track. Where's my hop on the magic short bus clip when I need it? Um, Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. You move on to the trucks, which are fine. They're mainly just stock cars, but slower. You know, which is good. You need something to get you up to the next level, get you up into something big and bulky, not like a modified. They're fine. Kind of forgettable, but not. They are fun. They are fun. Nationwide is. I like Nationwide. I want to say I like Nationwide. I like, watching in real life. I like driving it in the game. But if I could just go in a straight line without my back end kicking out, that would be nice. It's fun to drive. It's probably my least favorite of the ones to drive, granted, but it's still fun to drive. I like driving it. I want to be able to go in a straight line. Ah. And then after that, you move up to the Cup Series, which my problem with the Cup Series is, and it's my problem with the game entirely, is the COT is slow, and it's slow in both versions of the game. It feels it. I know it's going a decent speed. It's going at least 180 on like Daytona, which is not the best, but it's somewhat realistic for the time. I don't know the qualifying laps, but judging approximately, it's pretty good for the time. But it just feels slow. It feels slow to drive. NHRA needs to make a new game. They actually made a new game recently. It's which one is it? NHRA game. It is quite recent. NHRA Speed for All. It released in August of last year. I it's been divisive from what I have heard. Um, like some people really like it, some people really don't. Uh, I'm actually going to check the Steam ratings. I checked the Steam ratings the day it came out, and like they were all just atrocious. Well, it's gone up from mostly negative to mixed. So, it's an improvement, although I am seeing like mainly negative reviews. So maybe skip it. Maybe they'll come out with another one later that's better. Um, but NASCAR. Talk about NASCAR. In NASCAR, you have a career system. You have a career system in I think all the games. Some good, some bad, some just plain old atrocious. Um, I think the career system in 008 and '09 is my favorite because, and granted, it's what I grew up with, but it's my preferred career system where you start in one series, you sign a contract, you race that car, and then after a while you can move up into the next series by doing a license challenge. Um, that is my preferred way of doing it. Some people prefer the Thunder 2004 route, where you start in the Cup Series, you don't have access to the other ones, um, and you build up your own team. I I can get why people like that, but if I'm being honest, I don't like puttering around in 30th for 200 laps. I find that very boring. I don't want to be like up front the whole race, but I want to, at least be passing someone every now and then. That would be nice. That would be really nice. Now, you just go from modified, work down there, get a license challenge, move up to trucks, move up to nationwide, move up to, the cup. I like that. It's very nice. Granted, the main problem I have with 08, it doesn't have the presentation and the spectacle that earlier NASCAR games have or had. Like if you go to Thunder 2004, I'm not going to talk about that one because I don't have enough experience in that one. I haven't played that one for many years, like I have most of these games. I think all except for one. Oh, we'll get to that one. Um, but that one had a lot of spectacle. You had the actual drivers when you'd boot up the game go EA Sports. It's in the game. And it's always cool. I always found it funny. Because you'd have the drivers, they're like in their race suits, Some of them, there are like two of them, like you'd have Jimmy and Jeff. They had their own one where they did it together and it was all goofy and stuff. That one was fun. But then you had Junior in jeans and a white t-shirt sticking out like a sore thumb. Like he's the only one not in a race suit. He has a couple that are in a race suit, and I think one after he won the EA Sports 499. Um, but it's so vastly different. Tracks look good on what you've been playing. For PS2 graphics, yes. um, but that had a lot of presentation, and like before the races, you could or you had like the commentator would go through the starting lineup of where everyone qualified. You'd have a snippet of the national anthem. Jets would fly over. There would be fireworks, and then you'd all go out on the track. And while the pace car is leading all the cars around the track, you'd have the commentator go, "Oh, this is blah blah blah. He started here, and he's good at this, and that's why he's a favorite for this, and yada yada." Um, like they would in an actual NASCAR race. So they had a lot of presentation there. You also had other uh, paint schemes you could unlock. Like you could get NASCAR legends like Earnhardt, Petty, Yarborough, Kulwicki. You could get people who were in the Busch series at the time. You could get their paint schemes. Like you could get Junior's paint scheme. You could get Brian Vickers' paint scheme. There were a few others, but you know what? They're kind of nobodies, and I forgot their names. Um, you could, of course, create your own paint schemes, which you could do in, 08 and '09. And that is the paint schemes in '08 and '09 are kind of lackluster. You can't really change it up a lot. Granted, with the ones I'll get to after '08 and '09, that set a high bar. But, of course, you had your own paint schemes. And I think there was another section of drivers you could pick from. You could race the pace car. You could race the pace car out on the track doing 230 miles per hour and just whipping full scale NASCAR Cup Series drivers. You could do that. That Thunder 2004 had a lot of presentation, and that is missing in 08 and 09 for the PS2 and especially the PS3, but we'll get to that next. So, overall, 8 out of 10. NASCAR 08 and 09, despite being practically the same game, great games when they're on the PS2. Fantastic. I recommend playing them because they're not realistic. You're going to have a good arcadey time. It's I recommend at least trying it. I'm going to take a quick sip. And now we shall get on to the devil, NASCAR 08 and 09 for the PS3. Now the year is 2007. PS3 is out there. The game companies are experimenting, trying to see what they can do with it. Making their own games. The sports games are coming out that people like. Fan favorites. EA, fan favorite, like, football games, and I'm not sure hockey games. Maybe hockey games. I watched a video on the rise and downfall of EA hockey games, and I forget if it took place in, like, 2011 or around 2007 and 2008. Anyway, fan favorite sports games. And Shio, yes, hockey is boring. Hockey is very boring. You are right. You are absolutely correct. Thank you for putting in your snoring things at the right time. But video game companies are creating new great products, new great video games for these new gaming systems, the next generation. And what does EA give you for a NASCAR game? Pretty graphics? Very pretty graphics. Not everyone likes them because it looks kind of perpetually overcast. And not everyone likes that, I get that. But I love them because I love overcast. Great graphics. But a terrible game all around. If you go to my Twitch channel, last night I streamed NASCAR 08 for the PS3. I didn't buy. I didn't spend money. I'm cheap like that. But had to get an HDMI splitter just to play PS3 games. I didn't get it just for 08. I didn't get it just for NASCAR games in general. Because I actually kind of do want to play, like the first Assassin's Creed. That seems like fun. I suck at that game. But got special device to stream this because I wanted to do it before this stream right here that I'm currently doing now. You can go and watch it. I would advise you not. That was a terrible stream. That game is just so bad. I thought it would be a decent stream because it would get me angry and riled up, like with the NASCAR 21 Ignition stream, which we will get to. But that was just so terrible. Oh, you're off to elsewhere, Spittle. Catch up later. Bye. You have good whatever you're doing. Sleep. Video games. I don't think you can play video games because seafood. Anyway, you have a good time. Yeah, I shall see you later. But that game is just terrible. The driving feels absolutely horrid. Like the car is wildly unpredictable. And I've heard that the driving is fun when you have. Now, granted, a Canadian said this. His name is Austin had a stroke. Oganoski, close enough. I may shout him out later. Actually, I probably will when I get to talking about Ignition. He played it with like this wireless wheel, and he said he had at the very least a decent time driving the car. I did not. I'm on controller. I played it with a wheel, a proper wheel that's meant for PS4, PS5. You can use it on a PS3. In fact, you flick a little switch and it's PS3 oriented. It sucked both times. I did the wheel one in my off time, like a month before last night's stream. but they both sucked because that car is terrible to control. They all feel the same. There's only slight because it has the trucks, the Nationwide, and the Sprint Cup cars, both generations. If you're playing '08, it doesn't have the karts. No one bothered putting in the Whelen Modified. No one bothered. They were too lazy. But they all feel the same aside from speed. Um, it's the driving model for each and every one is unpredictable. You don't know what the car is going to do when you turn. You don't know what it's going to do when you flick the stick. You just have no idea, and you're kind of just hoping the car does what you want it to do. You pray every time you go into that turn. The AI are incompetent. They don't drive like anywhere near what an actual NASCAR driver would drive like. Like where I don't know, see if I can find a picture. NASCAR Daytona. And we'll just do that. Um in like say pack racing, you will have a shot. I need to figure out how to share a screen when I do this. You will have, like a whole bunch of cars all there we go. That's pretty. Like this shot right here. Uh, open a new tab. You see this? They're like three wide. They're in a pack, but they're kind of spaced out. You have multiple grooves, multiple lines. You have Bowen in the back. Um, everyone's kind of trying to find speed and grip where they can. Um, you have this going on in NASCAR '08, what you have, and I'm not going to find a picture because I don't think there is one. You know what? I probably should have, taken a picture. That would have been a good idea. But they're just two lines. They're just two lines, and that's all that's going on. Sure, they may spread out a bit. The lines may spread out, but you'll never get three wide, four wide, single file. You're never going to get that. You're only going to get two lines of racing. And that is because the AI cannot handle um anything else. There's a dude on YouTube that I quite like. His name is Drive Through. And he did his own stream and video on NASCAR '08 for the PS3. And it is far better than what I did. He's a better YouTuber and Twitch streamer, although I haven't seen him stream in quite a bit. Um, but he did his own video, and he showed what happens um, when you force the cars to go three wide. Say, and I tried to replicate it, but I can't drive the car. He forced the cars three wide, and the car that was stuck in the middle, it got all confused and scared, and it wiggled and it wobbled, and it slowed way down and backed up the entire last half of the pack. I want to see if I can find his channel. Granted, with a name like Drive Through, it's kind of hard to find. But that car could not handle going three wide. They can only handle going side by side. That's how just terrible the AI is. I found the channel. Let's see if I can find the video. Or not the video. I know how to find the video. But we'll see if I can find, the clip. The AI is just terrible. Sometimes it's kind of fine, It's all right, but it's most of the time it's just awful. And that sucks because there are two things you need for a good, fun NASCAR game. There are two things, very very important things. Okay, three things. First, you need NASCAR. You need NASCAR. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of cars going around the track doing 6 miles per hour. But you need a good and fun driving model, which '08 for the PS3 completely fails out. And you need good AI that can actually the player has a good time racing against. And it just fails. It fails at every conceivable margin. Like I wanted to play career. I have multiple times I've wanted to do the career of '08, or well, more specifically '09, because I'm gonna be honest, I really only played '09 because I like the COT more. Oh, this may be it. Hold on. Um, but I can't do it. Yeah, I found it. Shared the screen. Figure out how to do that. Hold on. Give me, yeah, I need just a moment. I'm not used to OBS and doing this, so it's going to take time. Window capture. Yes, this one. There we go. You guys can probably see that, right? Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. Awesome. Sweet. I did it. Everyone be proud of me. Okay, so we'll look here. Granted, he's below the double yellow. And to its credit, '08 has a cool feature where you can't get black flagged if you pass under the double yellow, and that is cool. And that's really the only cool thing about it. Now watch. He's going to force Junior up to go 3 wide here. He kind of bumps him up, and then see, look, he gets all wibbly and wobbly, connects with, I think that's Mike Wallace, and completely backs up the last half of the pack. And if we go forward a bit, you can see in the mini map, right up here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. I think I turned that option on. Right up here on the map, that's the back half of the pack. Going 3 wide did that. It completely screwed him. And as you can see up here, they're still just 2 wide. The double file going along. And he's kind of hitting this guy, but I don't blame him with how terrible this game is and the driving model is. It's terrible to drive. But yeah, I should probably keep the window capture up and just hide it, but you know what? We'll worry about that later. So yeah, AI is terrible. It has some cool features, like there are challenges you can do, and they can be somewhat fun if you could drive the car, you know. You can't drive the car, so it kind of doesn't make them all that fun. But '08 and '09, complete and total blunders. Like, terrible in every conceivable way. Play them if you want, but I recommend against it. Now, after '08 and '09, EA released, I think it was NASCAR Kart Racers, which you know what? Is fine. It's not anything NASCAR fans wanted, but it's just kind of a fun little family game, and I've had many a good time playing it. But after that, they gave up the rights to NASCAR, and the rights went to Eutechnyx. Eutechnyx is a British, I think they're British, yeah, they're British, game developer that kind of has not a spotty history. They don't release a lot of good games. But you know what? They were going to give an honest shot at it. And what did they come out with? NASCAR 2011, the game. Now, it's not as bad as '08 and '09. I want to see if I can show the trailer NASCAR 2011. It's not terrible. It's a bad game. It's a bad game. Very bad. Like, just bad in every single way. I'll get into that in a bit. Well, I want to show you the trailer to kind of show you what we thought, what people would think going into this. And it should pick up audio because I haven't muted anything. So we're gonna let this trailer run, and hopefully I won't get like copyright claimed or anything. Classic ERSRB right there. Ah, loud. Sorry, my bad. I'm gonna turn that down a bit. I forgot how loud this one is. Like that is an awesome trailer. He's okay. That is just an awesome trailer. Like that would get you hyped for a NASCAR game, you know? There's no volume for the game. I broke something. A lot of you were getting nothing. Oh, yeah, I'm dumb. That I forgot to turn on the desktop audio. I had it muted, just in case. I forgot to turn it back on. That's my bad. Anyway, it's really just engine sounds of like a spotter, so you didn't need it. But anyway, cool NASCAR game. There's a cool NASCAR trailer, you know? That would get you hyped. That gets you going, yeah, NASCAR game. Whoa. Well, what do we get when it comes out? We get NASCAR the game 2011. It released buggy. It released broken. It had well, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I quite liked um the damage model. It was stupid in all possible ways. You would ding your car up just a little bit, the entire side would be shredded. Like it was not realistic in the slightest, but I liked it though. When it worked, I like the game. I have a ton of fun with the game. It's bad. It's buggy. It's broken. It's the AI is kind of stupid. But I can drive the car. It's not the most realistic in any it's not realistic at all. Um, but it was fun to drive the car, and I could drive the car. I could go through Daytona without wibbling and wobbling into everyone else. So definitely a step up from NASCAR '08 for the PS3. Good NASCAR game? No. No, not at all. A blunder. But Utechnics sees this and they see how the fans don't like it and they go, okay, we gotta do something about this. We gotta deliver, a good NASCAR game. And that's what they do. I think it's the next year. They release NASCAR the game Inside Line. Another one of my favorite NASCAR games of all time. And it has Junior on the front, so again, I'm slightly biased on that. Um, as Junior is the cover athlete. But great game. Granted, you only have the Cup Series, and I should have mentioned, you only have the Cup Series in 2011, the game. So it was, with the amount of stuff you had, it was a definite step down from NASCAR '08. But the driving and somewhat the AI, okay, definitely the AI, it was a step up. The AI can be kind of stupid, but you know what? You could have actual pack races. They, drove on the confines of the track. Because that's something I forgot to mention. In '08, they can just like not drive on the track if they don't feel like it. Like that drive-through fellow I mentioned. He when he went to Pocono, Trick Triangle, the AI just wouldn't drive on the track. They'd have two wheels on the apron in the grass. They kind of just went where they want. Screw you. So AI is totally busted there. These guys at least stayed on the confines of the track. Little dumb, and that was the theme throughout all of the Utechnics games. The AI was lackluster, but it felt good to drive. It felt really good to drive. Like NASCAR Inside Line, a lot of people really like that game, and I really like that game myself. A lot of fun to drive. AI is wonky, yes. Like, just be careful about them. Expect everything that they could possibly throw at you. But they could somewhat drive like actual NASCAR drivers, which is not something we had in '08. It's not something we're going to see later down the line. Now, um, the AI, we're continuing on that, is a bit wonky. I've noticed something. Medium, feels too easy against the AI. But hard AI difficulty feels like they're just blowing your doors off. There's nothing you can do about it. And they could have struck a better balance. Um, Now they also had a paint scheme. Well, the 2011 had a paint scheme too. A paint scheme editor that is the best one we have ever gotten. Okay, OA kind of had a good idea with the paint schemes where you could create something on the computer. You could create your own paint scheme. You weren't limited to their confines, and you could upload that, slap it on a car. That was cool. I wish they would bring that back. Um, but without that, that paint scheme kind of sucked. Utechnics has the best paint scheme editor because it allows for the most freedom. You could do a whole lot of things. You're not you put your own designs on the car. You can make designs out of what you are given. It's not just, flicking through options and then coloring those. You can make your own designs out of the shapes and arrows and all the stuff you're given. I love it. I like even if I don't feel like racing, I will still boot up that game from time to time just to make a paint scheme because I feel like it. It's beautiful paint scheme. Lacking in some areas because it doesn't allow all the freedom you could ever have, and no one ever will. But best paint scheme editor ever. Now after that, they're riding high on their success. People are liking the game. Not as great as what we had in the old days. Okay. I didn't play NASCAR Thunder 2004, the one everyone says is the best NASCAR game, until last year. But not as good everyone says, but it's still good NASCAR game. One of the best. So what do they follow it up with? NASCAR 14. They follow it up with NASCAR 14, which is just NASCAR inside line with a different HUD. That's really it. I don't like that game. I'm going to be honest. And I'll tell you why. Because it was like, oh, you like the inside line a whole lot. You should love 14 if it's just the same game with a different HUD. Well, I don't know if it's a bug or what. But like AI on the easiest difficulty has always been 10 miles per hour faster than me. I don't understand it. I will never understand it. Maybe I'm just bad and I'm just really bad. But I don't like that game because of the AI. I just, no. After that, they release NASCAR 15, which is just the roster update. Now, granted, I will give you Technics one thing. They recognized it was a roster update and they halved the price. So, you weren't paying $60 for just updated drivers. You're paying $30 for just updated drivers. Not like hooray, but not nothing. It's a lot better than really everything we get these days. After that, they gave up the license and passed it on to I forget who they passed it on to. I kind of get spotty after you Technics, I'm not gonna lie, with what developer did what. But they passed it on to a new game developer. And what do we get? We get NASCAR Heat Evolution. Which, let me tell you, is another terrible NASCAR game. What a surprise. We're getting a lot of those. Now, Heat Evolution is a game I have played. Um, it is bad. I think it was the first NASCAR game for the PS4, which I will cut it some slack there, cause the you know, new console generation, new new dev team, all that. So I don't. It's kind of hard to believe they were gonna release a banger right out the gate. But it's bad. Like the graphics aren't good. Graphics aren't good. The AI is atrocious. The driving it's not like terrible. It's kind of just bland. you never really get anything out of the driving. You're kind of just driving, you know. You kind of it's just you get more excitement out of a nice Sunday drive. And it's not that it like feels slow, it just doesn't feel exciting. The driving's meh, AI is terrible. It's a buggy game, it's an ugly game. It barely has any features whatsoever. Like the career mode was just like skin and bones. The game itself was skin and bones. Really, the only thing cool about it was you could turn off the sensors and actually have Miller Lite on the Miller Lite car instead of it just saying Brad Kozlowski. That was cool. That was a nice touch. I wish they would do more of that, but it's just bad. Although there was one funny glitch that people found. If you're driving and you just spam pause and unpause, you will one start smoking. It's not a bad kind of smoking. But you will start smoking and you will be going about 10 miles per hour at least faster than everyone else. You will be the speed demon out on that track. So that kind of just trivialized the game. Like, why would I drive? Why would I race hard, go fast, try and be an actual NASCAR driver when I can just pause and unpause and pause and unpause and pause and unpause and win by 2 laps? So, could have been better. Definitely could have been better. Now, I'm gonna preface this with I I didn't play a lot of excuse me. I got something stuck in my throat. Okay, cleared it. We're good. Um, I didn't play a lot of Heat Evolution because the game was boring, and that in a way makes it close to as bad as '08, because '08 may have been a bad game, but '08 after a while became a boring game. Heat Evolution was a boring game right out the gate. Like there is nothing fun about it. And granted, part of it, I will be part somewhat nice to the NASCAR games, starting with Heat Evolution and onwards. Because part of the boringness is the cookie cutter intermediate tracks. But that was just a boring part of NASCAR at the time, so I suppose they emulated that quite nicely into the game. But bleh, boring game. Now, Heat 2, 3, and 4 is NASCAR's 2, Heat 3, and 4. I've never played. I do not have a copy of them. I don't want a copy of them. But from what I've heard, they're just small steps up from Heat Evolution until you get to Heat 5, which I do have, which I have played, which I have streamed. Go check. Actually, I think it's on the VODs channel. It's not the VODs channel. I don't have a VODs channel. It's on this channel. So you can go check that out if you're interested. Speaking, slight tangent. Something I find weird. My NASCAR VODs have been getting like at least double the viewers of my Sniper Elite VODs, which I don't understand. I thought people would take a lot more of an interest in Sniper Elite rather than NASCAR. Uh, I don't get it, but you know what? I ain't complaining. Um, so Heat 5, which I do have and have played, fun game, but it is a fun game. Like I have had some awesome moments in that game. Like just holding off the pack at Talladega to clinch a victory, or speeding through the Indianapolis road course. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. Like nothing else in that game compares to that. I've had so much fun doing that. But the intermediates, I don't like. And part of it is I don't understand them, but I can just never figure those ones out. I can never drive fast. I can never get it to feel good on the intermediates. And granted, the intermediates are boring, and that's going to make the driving on them boring, which it is. But I've never been able to get them to go good. The career mode is fine. I don't like it because, it has what '08 had for the PS2. It has that career mode where you go from this time you're not in the modified, you're in I think you're in late models. I forget. No, not late models. You're in a dirt car and you race around the dirt tracks and so and that's fun. The dirt racing in Heat 5 is a ton of fun. But and it has an interesting take where you're just kind of the driver that fills in if other drivers are out, and then you get hired to a team, then you move up to the next level, and then the next level, and then the next level, and yada yada. My problem is it has other career elements where you are starting 30th, puttering around at the back of the pack. It's not fun. I get very bored and somewhat frustrated. So career mode, not my style. It's fine if you are the one who likes to build up your car and your team. Then it's right up your alley. But otherwise, it's fine. And that's really Heat 5 as a whole. It's fine. It's a decent NASCAR game. It's not atrocious like '08, but it's nothing fantastic like '08 for the PS2. um, but it was at least building up and building up and building up. It should have built up more with each game, cause I'm checking the features and stuff. It built up very slowly into a decent NASCAR game. And that's why I don't get their next move, but I'll get to that in a bit. But it's just a decent NASCAR game that they could further improve on. Like the also the AI is fine. It's nothing spectacular. It's nothing terrible. Um, it's like everything else in the game. It's there. It's fine. It functions. That's a lot more than a lot of other games can say. But it's fine. It's passable. Um, so yeah. The Heat 5 solid like 7. I don't know why I rated one NASCAR game, then forgot it for like 7, and I'm now rating this one again. Don't ask me why I do things. I don't know why I do things. Now, after Heat 5, some things went down. Motorsports games happened. And that is a saga in and of itself. Mr. Austin Oganowski, I'm fairly certain I'm saying that wrong. Um, he covers a lot of NASCAR 21 Ignition, or he doesn't currently, but there are a lot of videos he did about it. And granted, he's not like a professional YouTuber. He's just some guy in Canada that races, I think, street stocks. But he's a cool dude, and I will link his channel in chat. Cause he has put out a lot of information revolving motorsport games and NASCAR 21 Ignition that is very cool and relevant and good. But I should probably talk about the game and leave all the stupid stuff. Leave that alone for a bit. I'll get to that after I get to the game. Now the game itself is atrocious. Oh, it's bad. And actually, hold on. I want to see if I can find it. It had a massive day one patch. Like it was so long. Yeah, I don't know if they were trying to hit like a word count or something. Um, but it is just so long. Please, I want to see the day one patch. Give it to me. Oh, I think I found it. Please. Yes. Okay, I found the day one patch. I'm gonna show that on screen. This should do it. Yes, here we go. This is the day one patch. And I'm not going to read them all. I'm just going to scroll down. And just scroll down. And scroll down. And just keep scrolling down. Now, if I remember correctly, this day one patch didn't come out day one. I think it came out like a week later. Well, you just keep going, and you just keep going, and one day it'll stop. Like you can hope it stops. You can hope they fixed everything in this patch, but no, they fixed nothing at all. Remove the grass that was unexpectedly growing on track at Watkins Glen? What? Like, we're gonna speed up the scroll. See, oh, there we go. See, there we go. Massive, that's a day one patch. That did not come out day one. Hey, oh, that probably wasn't good. I don't know. I'm a professional streamer guy. I totally meant to show that. Screw you. Massive. So that one, I think that alone tells you how this game is and how it went. So, buggy game. Completely buggy game. Unstable. Like, you sneeze, it crashes. Or at least it would crash when it released. I don't think it crashes a whole bunch now. At least I didn't experience any crashes. But, terrible, buggy mess. It's somewhat stable now. I'll give it that. I want to post Austin's link in chat. There we go. Um, it's stable now. It doesn't crash a whole bunch as far as I know. Um, but it's still very buggy. The just weird things will freak out. The physics won't be right. Sometimes you'll start a race, and I know this is a minor thing, but it is noticeable. You'll have a water temp of negative 420, and no, I'm not making that up. I, it's sometimes cars will just pop into the floor, pop into the wall, pop into each other. They're mating. It it's a total bug-filled mess of a game. Now, what about the driving? The driving is fine. It's better than Heat Evolution. Somewhat. It's not boring. There are some instances where it's really just I don't know what the car is doing. I'm never going to find out. And then there are other ones where yeah, this feels like a decent NASCAR Cup Series car. So it's kind of a gamble, but it's not as bad as '08, not as boring as Heat Evolution, so it's fine. And I would hope so. It it runs on the R Factor engine, which is a racing engine. Granted, it's not meant for stock cars, so I don't know why they picked it. But it is at the very least a racing engine, so it should get some basics of, feeling good. But but there's no point in the driving system being good if, you know, you can't drive the car properly. Now, the AI. You can't drive the car properly because the AI will not let you. The AI works on a physics engine you can never hope to understand. They will never take a corner like you will. You will never take a corner like they will. They're fundamentally different. Now, that's one thing. That makes the AI just terrible outright. But you know what? It gets worse. The AI don't think. They don't react. They 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 do react to bump drafting because they can't bump draft. They'll get scared. Actually, I think this one is kind of fixed, kind of not. Well, they'll get scared and kind of freak out a bit. They'll react to that, but they don't really react to much else. They don't react that your car is there. They don't react that someone else's car is there. The cautions are busted. Granted, Heat 5, the cautions were kind of wonky. Like, you had 2 settings for cautions in Heat 5. You had relaxed and strict. Strict, butterfly touched your car, there was a caution. Relaxed, there was a 40 car pileup. Or keep the race going, it's fine. I'm exaggerating there, but it wasn't perfect. Now, ignition on launch didn't have functioning cautions. So what you would have is you would have a broken AI, completely busted AI, with no cautions. So you can never reset the AI. And I'm going to show you what would happen there if I can find, because I know there's a specific video that I remember watching. Here we go. Actually, the thumbnail shows enough. I should probably get into the video. Mute that. Share the screen. The screen is good. Pop. So you see, AI doesn't avoid stop cars. This is on release. So granted, they have fixed it, but this is that is no excuse. There is no excuse for this. This should not have been there on release. Watch. Now, granted, he crashes his car on purpose. And it's bouncing around, and ooh, look, the huge pileup happens. No one even tries to avoid. These guys don't even try to avoid. They don't recognize it's there, and you get that. Like, look at poor. I think that's Briscoe right there. He's upside down, the poor lad. This is Michael Marutz. Like, and you'll see he comes up. Yep. So that's just one of the many glitches you can have. Or, well, I suppose it's maybe it's glitch. I want to put this in the chat as well. If YouTube posts it, I know YouTube doesn't like posting stuff. I keep doing that. I am dumb. All of my stream information is going to get hacked. No, I think it's fine because I'm pretty sure Trippy shows the screen all the time, and he has a lot of people that want to hack him. But that's what would happen on launch. And granted, if you turn cautions off, that still happens. The AI cannot recognize stopped cars. Now, granted, you want to run a race with cautions? Sure, go ahead, buddy. You'll have a caution every 5 laps because the AI cannot race around itself and cannot race around you. So bad things are going to happen. Bad things are always going to happen. Like it's just atrocious. In the stream I did, which I'm pretty sure is on this channel as well, I was racing at I think it was New Hampshire, and the AI just completely breaks. It just completely stops working altogether. To the point where like it'll be stopped for so long, the the game will kick the cars off the track, and like half of them will DNF. But that doesn't matter because you're the only one who could get past the pileup. So, you've already lapped them all 3 times before the race ends. And that's in, a 25 lap race? I forget how many laps I did. But it's not like a super long race. That's in a very short span of time. So the AI is just terrible. And they have made no efforts to fix it. Austin that I put in chat, he did a couple, I think it was a video he did where he ran at Daytona. And he noted something that the AI, whenever it's going to pit at Daytona, and granted, I haven't tested this myself, so it could have just been a one-time thing, but the AI, when they're going into the pits, would start riding the wall on the backstretch, because they're that dumb. Now, his theory was they coded a pit line in wrong, and that may be true, but my theory is the AI is just that dumb, because there's no sense to the AI. Now, I will give him one thing. I'll give him a couple of things. They put out continuous updates for the game. They added the next gen car, which is just the Gen 6 car with another gear. It acts the exact same. It's just a body swap and a gear. I don't know what the point was. The paint scheme editor is decent. It's not as good as the Technics games, but it is a decent paint editor. So I'll give it that. But that's really about it. The career mode is a joke. The AI is nonsensical. Will never act how you act. You will never act how the AI acts. And you would never act how the AI acts. You'll crash and die. In real life and in the game. You could be sitting on your couch. If you act like the AI acts, you will somehow crash your couch into a freeway outside. It's just a terrible game. Like it is. I put it on par with NASCAR 08. I could write a thesis on how bad it is. Granted, I don't think y'all want a thesis out of me. Um, so yeah, just terrible. Now, Motorsport Games, which is the creator of NASCAR 21 Ignition, um, they have a troubled past. All the breaking stuff is on Austin's channel. I do once again recommend you check that out. He puts out good content. He's not the most professional. Um, his mic is terrible at times. It kind of changes depending on video. I don't understand. But he does put out good information, and he is a pretty good, chill dude. Now, everything we have learned is one, the CEO, I forget his name. It's something Russian. That's how you know he's a scumbag. That's how you know he's a lying, dirty scumbag. He's a Russian. Um, he will lie to investors. He'll lie to the public. I'm willing to bet he lies to NASCAR about the product. Um, the from the workers that have released information on the company, the the working there is terrible. Um, from what I've heard, management doesn't know what it's doing. You're expected to always 24/7 be available because I think they have an office in the UK and an office in Australia, and maybe, okay, probably an office in the US as well. And they don't coordinate anything. So you're just always expected to be available in some capacity, which is just dumb. It's a terrible working environment. Um, it's they barely released a NASCAR game. Sure, it has Cup cars and sure it has NASCAR in the title, but it doesn't function like a NASCAR game does. It's just I could barely call it a game if I'm being honest. Um, Um, I think information was released on the CEO where he ran a scam and fraud company as well. Uh, don't quote me on that. Again, go check out Austin's videos. He has a lot of them, and most of them are only like 8 minutes tops. He goes into a lot more information and he remembers a lot more details. I'm a forgetful person, but the theory is that NASCAR 21 Ignition was just a sham and a scam to get money and keep the grift going. And that is sad because Motorsport Games also has access to a lot of other racing series, like exclusive licenses. Like IndyCar. They have the exclusive license to make IndyCar games. So much so that iRacing, which is another can of worms we won't be getting into. iRacing can't do anything like directly IndyCar related. Um, like they can't. I think they can't use the name or the modern cars or the logo or anything like that. I think. Granted, it has been a while since I checked up, so things could have been cleared up and yada yada. But they have the exclusive license. They've been touting it. That we have the exclusive IndyCar license. We have not gotten an IndyCar game. I would be down to play an IndyCar game. That could be a great way to get not just me, but other people into the sport, just like a good NASCAR game. Get other people into the sport. Because, granted, I've always been into NASCAR to some degree. But even when I stopped watching races because I found they were boring, I would still play the games. So that at the very least kept me in NASCAR and made me want to come back. And if the games could do that, then the games can totally get more people into not just the games but also the sport as a whole. Now, IndyCar, you need like an actual game to do that. From what I've heard conflicting reports, but I'm not sure they're working on an IndyCar game. I think they put everything into NASCAR. And they haven't put a lot into NASCAR. There's a new NASCAR game out. that released last year, and I didn't keep tabs with that one. I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't feel like it. I actually looked it up on Metacritic. It doesn't even have ratings. It has like two. One is really good, one is really bad. So mm, I have no opinion on that one. I don't have high hopes though either. But the Motorsport Games also has exclusive licenses with a couple other motorsports that I forget. I know they had an exclusive license with the British Touring Car Series, but the British Touring Car did a smart thing and they just ran away from that. They got out of that contract as soon as possible. Um, which is a smart idea because one, they're now they may not even be working on a game for your motorsport series, and even if they are, it's probably not going to be good because just yearly releases typically are not good. Like look at Assassin's Creed. They stopped doing the yearly series or yearly game for the Assassin's Creed series because the Assassin's Creed Unity and Syndicate were bad and buggy. And whatever you think about Origins and Odyssey and Valhalla, they they've put effort in and granted I haven't played Valhalla, but Origins and Odyssey aren't really buggy and they have a lot in them. So yearly releases alone are terrible. But also think of maybe they're trying. I don't honestly know. I genuinely think they've put everything into NASCAR and they're not even trying with the other motorsport series. They're doing they're trying to do yearly games for four different motorsport series. And one is IndyCar, and I know that that's going to take a lot, at least as much as NASCAR. And they didn't put a lot into NASCAR. And you know what? If they're going to do four different games for four different series, they're going to put less effort into all the series as a whole. And if you put less into the NASCAR, that's going to be just awful. Because NASCAR 21 Ignition is already awful. One of some people think it is the worst NASCAR game. I think it's tied with NASCAR 08 for the PS3. They're both the worst in their own in different areas. But picture four NASCAR 21 ignitions, but all probably severely downgraded. And that's what you're going to get if, again, I mean this, if they're even trying to do anything that is a NASCAR focused. And like if you look, no one likes this company. No one has any faith in this company. If you look at the what was it, the stocks, shares, whatever, they became a publicly traded company a while ago, and the stocks tanked. Last I checked, and granted it was a couple months ago. Last I checked, it was like $1 a stock, maybe less. And I'm no stock analyst guy, but from everything I've heard, that's very, very bad, especially considering I think their stocks beforehand were in like the hundreds of dollars range. So, not the company's going downhill. And late last year, I believe, they were talking about bankruptcy. And everyone's thinking they are not going to make it through this year. Granted, people were thinking they weren't going to make it through last year, and as far as I know, they did. Actually, I'm going to check that just in case. I'm going to assume they did because, they released a NASCAR game. Um, but it's not going to be good. I'm not sure if they will make it through this year. I hope they don't. I hope it shuts down and the NASCAR license can go to an actually good developer. Actually, I looked up motorsport games, went to the news section. The first article I see has the headline, "Should you buy motorsport games stock after it has fallen 60 60.51% in a week. Granted, I know stocks have been terrible lately. The economy's tanked, but 60.51% in a week. And that was an article from 4 days ago. 4 days. I would not have high hopes for motorsport games. Now, I do want to say motorsport games, how they came to be is they bought the company who made R Factor, which is an open wheel racing game that some people will swear by, other people hate it to death. I haven't played it, so I'm just gonna stay off. I'm not gonna talk about it. So they kind of got attention from NASCAR, IndyCar, yada yada, for buying R Factor, having access to the R Factor 2 engine, which is a racing engine, and of course no one looks around to see, maybe an open wheel road course game, would it be great for stock car oval racing? No one bothered to check that. So they got the license to NASCAR. And IndyCar, it's a fair bet to go, hey, they bought the they bought this open wheel racing game, so they can probably make another open wheeled racing game using the engine from that game they bought and the team they bought and all that. But no, they didn't. There's been no IndyCar game. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I would bet though, motorsport games will go bankrupt before that IndyCar game comes out. It will go so incredibly bankrupt. So yeah. Now granted, the latest NASCAR game is NASCAR Rivals for the Switch, which haven't played, not going to cover it, in the stream at least. So I suppose that's where the NASCAR video game thing ends. Because NASCAR could have really good games that appeal to not just NASCAR fans. Because it is just high octane racing. You can have high octane NASCAR racing that appeals to not high octane NASCAR fans. Or, yeah, not high octane NASCAR fans and high octane not NASCAR fans. You can appeal to both of those if you make a good enough game. But you know what? No one's bothering making a good enough game right now. They're either making games that are just fine, decent, good enough, or they're grifting on a license and making terrible games and considering it fine. It is a sad display. I don't want to leave this on, a sour note, but NASCAR video games are kind of at a sour note right now. And NASCAR video games kind of reflect the greater video game industry as well. Um, I say because you do have good games releasing. I don't want to say they're like it's just bad games releasing. Like Hogwarts, I forget the second word in the title. Whatever the Hogwarts game released, I have heard nothing but praise about the game. The only bad thing I've heard, or bad things I've heard, isn't about the game. It's just bagging on the game because it's Harry Potter and they don't like J.K. Rowling, whatever. I've heard great things about that game. Granted, I have no interest in it. I hate Harry Potter with a fiery passion. Well, I've heard great things about that game. And there are other great games. You just have to look. Um, I don't know any modern releases right now. If they come to me, I'll get back to you. I know the bad modern releases, but you have games releasing today. You have your FNAF Security Breach. You have your Gotham Knights. You have your Cyberpunk 2077, which release broken, buggy messes. It doesn't matter how much love was put into the game, and depending on which game and who you ask, not a lot of love was poured in at all. But it doesn't matter how much love is poured into the game, that the brass, the higher ups, they don't care about making a good game. Look at EA. They don't care about making a good game. All they care about is the bottom line, bottom dollar. And granted, you do need some of that. You can't just have a purely it's a company that goes out there and is like, "Hey, we'll give you these AAA games for free, and you shall love us." No, they go bankrupt in a week. But when you have a company that is solely monetary, that has only monetary incentive, doesn't care about making a good game, you'll get EA. You'll get FNAF Security Breach, Cyberpunk 2077, Gotham Knights. I could go on and on about Gotham Knights and FNAF Security Breach, but I feel like talking about Gotham Knights right now. Granted, I haven't played it, but that game, to me as an outsider, is a soulless husk of a game. Just looking at it, I feel no soul, no passion, no nothing coming from that game. Like if you now, granted, I'm not the Gotham Knights shouldn't be compared to the Arkham series and everything, like combat and such. Um, because they were trying to go for say a different combat system, a different story, yada yada. But when you compare to the Arkham games, those games had a lot of charm and a lot of soul, as well as being good games. Granted, Arkham Knight on the PC was exceptionally buggy its first at least year. Like that was atrocious, and I feel bad for whoever bought that on PC. Like, you, poor guys had to suffer for a bit. But Arkham Knight was a good game. Arkham City is a good game. Arkham Asylum is a good game. Gotham Knights is not. The story is bad. I'm not going to spoil it, but you're just gonna have to take my word if you don't want spoilers that the story is bad and not sensical. The characters are bland and 2D. Um, Cause they, cause, I'll tell you the basic premise, because you know that was in the marketing as such, and it's not really spoilers. But I suppose spoiler warning if you want to remain so in the dark. Um, Bruce Wayne dies, and the Bat family have to move on and control Gotham's crime without him. It's a fine premise, and they also have the Court of Owls in there, but it, it, it the characters they all have this emotional thing where they discover something from Batman and it learns to help them get used to his death or get used to is not the right word. But his get used to his death and become a better crime fighter and yada yada. But there's no growth. They kind of just look at a part of the blown up bat suit, create a new piece of technology, and yeah, they're good to go. It, it's it's soulless. There's no thought or effort put into it. The the fighting the fighting style because they went for a different type of fighting in that game, which I get. You want to differentiate yourself from the Arkham series. I get that, but it's you drop the ball with like say the enemies. One with the enemies and just fighting, because I've been watching. Um, Whoever thought it was a good idea to have big, bulky enemies that are boring to fight and then have them get back up after a while, so you have to fight them again, that doesn't sound fun. Um, it's no. Now, as a consumer who is looking to buy the game, everything you have presented looks boring and bland and like the Arkham games did it better. I I no, it's bad. This is a bad game. Like just traversal alone, I'd go insane with traversal. It's like again, I'm gonna compare it to the Arkham games. You had your grapple and your glide, um, in all of them, and in Arkham Knight you had the Batmobile, and they all felt good and speedy, and you could get there efficiently and quickly. I get bored to tears watching someone drive the Bat cycle through Gotham. Like It's the bat cycle. It's supposed to be a speedy, nimble vehicle that you can just blaze around Gotham with. I'm not gonna talk about like other character their special ways of movement because they all have special ways. Some are dumb like teleportation, but they all have their special ways, and I don't feel like going like into every single one of them. But the bat cycle, no, that's supposed to be speedy, nimble. You get from point A to point B like that. The in Arkham Knight, you had the Batmobile. That seems faster. That genuinely does seem faster. And that did not feel like a speed demon of a thing. Like you only felt fast when you were full bore on the afterburner. But that made sense because it's this big, bulky, literal tank of a car. So you're not going to be going Mach 5 down Gotham City streets. And the Gotham City was not built for that. That map was not built for you going some insane speeds. But at least you felt like you had some speed and you could get there reasonably fast and efficiently. And it's a tank, so it's fun. Granted, the Batcycle will never be a tank, but you should at least be speedy and nimble. You weren't not speedy and nimble. Anyway, that was that. I got off topic there. Anyway, modern video games suck. Screw you. Modern NASCAR video games suck. Yeah. I think I've said everything I've needed to say and everything that I've had stuck rambling about in my head for pretty much a year. um, yeah, this was not as planned as say the first NASCAR stream I did. This was a little more jumbled and yada yada. Um, but yeah, I didn't put as much planning into this because I wanted it to be a bit more, say looser. And also, it's been bouncing around in my head for so long. Like I had the basic structure of everything laid out for so long. So details I did forget. Some of the finer things. Um, and the just the vast amount of stuff going on with motorsport games. I scratched the surface. I did that on purpose because we would be here for another hour if I went in depth into everything going on with motorsport games. Um, but I want this to be looser, little more off the cuff, not as planned and not as something as the other stream. There's just something I wanted to change. I don't know. I don't know if it was a good change. I don't know. But yeah, I've talked myself to death. My throat is sore. It's a Sunday. People are probably asleep right now, so I'm gonna be done. I don't have to raid anyone now, which is nice. I can just leave. I can just press stop broadcast and leave. That's nice. I'm just getting tired. I'm rambling now. So anyway, before I do go, I have a Twitch channel and I stream there. I stream video games there every once in a while. Not super often. Every once in a while. You can find that in the description. You should also go check out like One Low and Becca on Twitch. I'll see if I can pull their links up. If Bonsako's still here, he can put his link in. And if he's not, he can get left out because he's lame. Um, um, nah, I'll put his in. I just need to find it. I need to like, type and such. You were the first one that appeared. One of those first one that appeared in my search thing, so I'll do him first. If YouTube takes it, granted, YouTube doesn't post my links a lot of the time. So if it's not there, I apologize. I assure you, I did put it in there. But YouTube might not have done it. Anyway, there's One Low. There's Becca. Here's Bonsako. Copy link address. Go check them out. Go click the link in the description. I may stream on YouTube sometime soon. Don't count on it though. I'm really preferring game streams right now. I don't um I like the talkie streams when I have like something to talk about, but right now I don't really have anything to talk about. And when I just sit there and talk, I feel like I'm rambling, and I don't think anyone wants to listen to me ramble. But go click the linky. Go follow the people. Go check them out. Because like One Low and Becca and Bonsako, they actually stream. I don't. There's a reason this is the first live stream, like live stream, not VOD that you've seen on this YouTube channel in a year. It's because I don't stream a lot. Anyway, check them out. Like, subscribe, YouTuber things. This one is genuine. I'm not doing this just because, YouTubers say to do it. Let me know what you thought in the comments because I am curious. I do want to know what people thought about this. Um, so yeah, do that. Give me interaction and let me know. Give me your nastiest hate comment. I want it. Do it. Do it to me. I want you to do it. Anyway, y'all have a good night. I shall see you sometime in the near or far future.